Hello and welcome back to another episode of Critical Reactions with your host Bryan. We're going to continue on just exploring some music outside of any sort of overarching theme, this time looking at a track from Angel Dust. The track is called Dust. The only thing I know about this is that this track is coming off of their upcoming album. I believe it comes out in February or March. Other than that, I have no idea what I'm in store for here. Let's dive into this and see what Angel Dust is bringing to the table with Dust. I always wonder in music videos if ambient sounds like the birds chirping are done for the video or if they are in the studio version as well. So 3 chords, a mid, a low, back to the mid, and then the high. Very light, ethereal vocals. Sounds on the sides too. I like the spacing on the guitars. So it's got kind of a pop grunge sound so far. It's an interesting idea. Like a light alternative rock, maybe? So we chord. 4 chords, actually, there's a walk down at the end. What's with the wavy half-step movement on the guitars? It is wavy. Lots of vibrato on that. All right, I think that wraps that up. Short track. I'm simultaneously intrigued and a little put off, I suppose, by this track. It's so wild. We kicked the track off about, I don't know, close to a minute maybe of a light poppy grunge sound. We have very light vocals and they're paired with guitar chords. 3, a mid, a low, a mid, and a high, then back to the mid. Just this little movement here. It is cyclical. There is a small bit of tension and release, but it really isn't the purpose of it. It's designed to provide momentum and to be infinite. It just continues to cycle. There is no point when it really feels like it's over because the midpoint is the rest and both the higher and the lower are tension. So it is just jumping back and forth between tension and release, but there is more than 2 chords. So it's not really designed to do anything other than keep the song moving, to make sure it doesn't feel static and to not have a point where it feels like things need to end. There's not really a point of finality in it. It's just cyclical momentum. And I think that matches a lot of the energy here too, because we do have these guitar sounds on the outside of the track that provide texture and atmosphere and even a little bit of melodic ideas alongside the vocal melody that we have center. The drums are light. Everything here is designed to engage with an atmosphere, a sound, a vibe in general, and not steer away from it. It's designed to perpetuate this singular feeling. And I think that was done on purpose to not really have any point of finality in the melody writing, in the atmosphere, in the chordal writing. It is all designed to be perpetual. So that when we do have a break and come in with the heavier stuff around, a minute, minute and a half into this track, it feels jarring, not just because we are going from this lighter sound to this heavier sound, but because we have stopped a perpetual machine in order to engage something else. And so we kind of have two levels of jarring writing here. And that's why I think it's purposeful. It's designed to heighten the schism between these two sides. But I don't know if I enjoyed the beginning, like on a subjective level. There are parts of it I enjoyed, and the lighter, grungy feel I think generally worked for me. But I really wanted it to go somewhere. And part of that may be that it is kind of grunge adjacent, a genre that I'm semi-familiar with and enjoy the movement between ideas of. Grunge does a really great job of moving between highs and lows and creating fluidity between them. This takes that expectation I have by using some of those sounds and subverts it. Gets me prepped for something that they have no intention of following through on. Because the next section we get to is heavy. In fact, for a moment, I thought it was going to be kind of punky. Something about the guitar tones and the dry drum production said punk to me, but I do think it comes off as more alternative rock to start. The vocals come in loud and shouty. That also kind of bleeds a little bit into that more punk side of things. And we have a nice 4-chord progression here with more weight given to the first 3 chords. The last one is more of a passing chord that we get for a beat and a half, maybe 2 beats at the end of the final bar of the phrase. It's just a really quick step down to return back to that first chord of the entire passage, rather than something to really help add as a point of finality. We kind of gloss over it and it helps us return more so than adds a final stepping stone for this entire chordal movement. So once again, we have this idea of perpetual motion. We don't really have a clean finality in this chord progression either. And out of nowhere, we bring in a jagged rhythm. 2 beats of pure 8th notes, pure 16th notes? I don't remember, but it was faster though. It's that burst of notes, that ticka 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 ta. And then we have 2 beats of something a bit calmer, and then back to that ticka 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 ta, and then back to, the slightly slower, slightly calmer idea. And it's this jarring. We're rushing and then we're slowing down, and then we're rushing and then we're slowing down. The energy harmonically, melodically, the energy of the vocals, the atmosphere of all of this, the guitar tones of the guitars and the basses, the drums still being a bit drier and more aggressive. All of this is still the same from the alternative rock sound we were just in, but compositionally we've engaged with something jarring here. We evolved this to have a really cool counterpoint moment where I think it was our right guitar and our lead vocal are both taking lead melody, different melodies entirely, but they're both present at the same time. And I thought this was a very cool moment. It finally provided something a bit more melodic focus, something that kind of ties back to the first section of the song, which was lighter and really gave room for the vocal melody to take lead where everything else was set dressing. And since then, we have focused on a sort of harsh rhythmic textural thing with these punkier rhythms and sounds and alternative rock chords. And so we bring melody back at the forefront here. The vocals are still kind of shouty, but they've kind of gotten off that yelling sound, the more aggressive tone, and brought back a little bit of more, less distortion, more of a clean singing sound to allow more of a focus on melody and pitches, and the guitar lining up with that also allows for this counterpoint to begin. Interestingly, sort of like how we saw in the chord progression of the first part of this track, we're going to return back to something we saw earlier. So we had, once we get into this heavier section, we have the alternative rock sounds. Then we get into that jagged digga 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 da, the really quick notes on half of the bar and then slower notes on the other half. That's our second. Our third is this counterpoint. Now we're going to return back to that jagged rhythmic thing where we're doing the push and pull, the rush and slow down. I think it's really interesting that this track, both in its phrasing and general movement through the composition in the back half, but as well as the harmonic elements, the chord progression in the first half, focused on this idea of general movement. It's not just back and forth. There are multiple stages to this, but there's always a return back to a central idea. And anyways, that sort of takes us to the end of the song. I'm not sure that I enjoyed it, but there does seem to be quite a bit more depth here than I think I initially expected. Given the sound that we heard at the beginning and then the eventual coin flip that we saw at the end, seeing the other side of their sounds, both of them start off a bit on the simpler side, but upon further inspection, we find that there might be some really interesting choices behind why they have done some of the things they did. Overall, it is a sub 3-minute song. This is perfect for the radio, perfect as a single. It's short, it's punchy, lots of places are catchy, and it also provides a very clear and immediate showcasing of who this group is. It's one of those instances where I think I'm more interested in the potential of what this band can do, because the thing with a single, especially a music video, is yes, it is still the art of the band, but it's also a promotion opportunity. The purpose of this is to get eyes on the band so that they can go explore the album. And usually the album is going to have more exploratory ideas than your singles. And so I see a lot of interesting things here, but it also feels like it plays itself safe too. Not necessarily mainstream safe, but I'm going to assume safe for Angel Dust. And it makes me want to check out what else they're doing on their album, stuff that I think might work a little bit better for them. I do think the runtime is just a hair bit too short for this track. Maybe we'll see that it's thematically appropriate once we read the lyrics, but I do feel like the track needed a little bit more room to mature, to grow into. I feel like we have two cool ideas here and both of them are cut short before they do anything interesting. Let me hit some lyrics and see what's going on there. All right, so the tonal shift actually has narrative purpose to it. The first two verses encompass the lighter part of this track, and it speaks about losing someone close to them. Says, held my baby close, her body lost her soul now, went to the other side, I swore revenge was mine now. Verse 2 talks about the rage taking over. Says, I take a great big breath, draw a line in the sand. I take a great big breath, it's happening again. And this is the part where the song gets heavy, and I actually like the idea here that the beginning doesn't try to transition into the second part, into the heavier part, that there is a moment, I think it was like 2 beats, maybe it was a full bar of silence. And it's this harsh transition, this moment of change, not represented by music, but by an immediate alteration. Once the heavy part comes in, the vocals say, I've got a gun in my hand right now. I've become someone I said I wouldn't become. And this chorus is repeated multiple times until the song wraps up. So it's a revenge story about losing someone close to you and deciding that you're going to kill the person who took them from you. And it's the grief process, hyper focusing on the melancholy, and sort of the separation of the mind and the heart here as we move away from sorrow into anger. And I really like the line, someone I said I wouldn't become. So again, it's about being overwhelmed by these feelings where the mind, the rational thought, knowing that you don't want to go down this path, is blocked out for the feeling and hope of catharsis you'll have by carrying out this revenge plot. Yeah, interesting track. Not anything of what I thought the lyrics were going to be. Very surface level, not a lot of depth to it, but I do enjoy how they line up with the musical decisions here. These are my thoughts on Dust by Angel Dust. What do you think of this? Is there anything that stood out to you? Anything that you'd like to add on to what I said or correct me on? Do you have your own take, perspective, or opinion on this? Let me know. Add that and whatever other comments you'd like to into the comment section below. Above that, in the description box, you'll find a link to Linktree. Takes you here. You can find links to my music, ways to support the channel, a link to the Discord server, and so much more. Above that, if you could, like, subscribe, and ring the bell. I greatly appreciate all three of those. All right, that wraps up for today. I'll be back tomorrow, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 10 p.m. UTC as usual. Until next time, remember to be critical, not cynical, of the music you listen to, and have a fantastic morning, afternoon, or evening, whenever you choose to watch my videos.